All right, we're coming right back, Ed.
Okay.
All right, we are back live. This is your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour, brought to you by George Rogie Insurance, www.bolopunchboxinghour.com. Streaming to you live, as always, on Ustream.tv. On the phone right now, I've got the president and CEO of the International Boxing Hall of Fame of Canastota, New York. I've got Mr. Ed Brophy. Ed, how you doing tonight, sir?
Well, we're doing good, and it's an exciting time of the year here in Canastota as the International Boxing Hall of Fame just came off of its announcement last week of the new inductees for 2009, and it's also the 20th anniversary of the Boxing Hall of Fame, so we're quite excited in boxing's hometown. A lot of the volunteers working on all the different events. We have a big weekend planned for all the boxing fans to reunite once again in Canastota, June 11th through the 14th, but more importantly, it's to honor the new class of inductees, and what a class it is.
It's an outstanding class. I mean, it's one thing to say Lennox Lewis is finally going in, and that's probably what the headlines are going to say. But this is a deep group of individuals that you have chosen, that not that you yourself has chosen, but the governing body, the voters have chosen for the class of 2009. Let's do a rundown of them, can we?
Sure. And really, it's congratulations to not only the inductees, but also compliments to the voting committee of boxing writers of America and boxing historians from around the world. Many different boxing writers and historians represent different countries. And when the ballots go out, they spend their time and they really continue to do a great selection and represent the International Boxing Hall of Fame well. And again, an international class of inductees. In the modern category, as we mentioned, Lennox Lewis making it in on his first year of eligibility. One of the great heavyweights, gold medal, heavyweight gold medal winner in 1980 Olympics. And then, of course, he had some great wins and title defenses. And of his 41 wins, 32 came by way of knockout. But continuing down the list, the first South African boxer to be elected in from Johannesburg, South Africa, the great junior lightweight champion Brian Mitchell. Also, the fighting pride out of Laredo, Texas, the IBF bantamweight champion from 1988 until 1994. He successfully defended his title 16 consecutive times. Orlando Canizales. And that's the modern category. What a great treat it's going to have to all three here in boxing's hometown. But additionally, other ones in the observers and non-participants.
Oh, yeah.
Four others to be here. And that, as follows, is one of the great journalists, British sports journalist, Hugh Mankiewicz. One of the great writers. He's received many awards. Very well respected in the boxing world, and was named the Britain's Journalist of the Year. One of the only ones to be named that. Again, Hugh Mankiewicz is one of the great writers, well respected. Along also internationally from Japan, one of the top promoters in one of the moving forces in boxing promotions in Japan, and also throughout the world. But in Japan, from Tekken Promotions, the president, Akihiko Honda, very well respected around the world and has done great for boxing in Japan and many promotions. He's cross-promoted with the boxing promoters since 1964, right up to currently, and continues to do so. So we look forward to welcoming him. And another one is a publicist, a matchmaker, a promoter. He's done it all in his over 50 years of boxing involvement. His father was elected in the Hall of Fame in 1999. And of course now he himself, Bobby Goodman, is being elected into the Hall of Fame. Mr. Nice Guy, everybody well respected, has respected Bobby Goodman. He's played a part in every different aspect of boxing and has done it with respect and dignity, and hats off to Bobby Goodman. Also, the former sports writer from the Philadelphia Daily News, the New York Post, and he's known across the world for his 30 years career as an expert analyst for HBO Championship Boxing, Larry Merchant. Just a great class of inductees to be here and to be honored in June. We're very excited about it.
Well, I mean, everyone knows who Larry Merchant is, but they might not. I mean, the casual boxing fan knows his face, but they might not know his years of journalism.
Exactly. One of the great writers, and I think that what made him it made him a great broadcaster is that as a journalist for the Philadelphia News and New York Post, and really being well-rounded as a journalist, he brought that expertise, and it's also additionally brought just a lot of knowledge to the sport. He studies it, and you take that background and you think that the studying that he does before fights, and he puts it all together, and he's done it consistently for so many years. A true expert in the field.
I would agree with that. I mean, we've been coming up with Larry Merchantisms from our years of watching HBO for years now.
Right, exactly. He's got them, and he summarizes a fight. He analyzes it as he's going through in the way that he says it, but he especially ends the boxing show, and he kind of wraps it all up and puts it in good perspective, and he does it in such a unique way that only he can do it in the way that he does it, and it's very well respected. HBO is very pleased with having someone like Larry Merchant for 30 years because of his expertise, and well deserving to be elected into the Hall of Fame.
So someone's listening right now, Ed, and they're like, I want to meet Larry Merchant. I want to meet, I want to meet Lennox Lewis. I want to meet Canizales. I want to be there. I mean, I hear about these guys on Bullet Punch. They talk about it, and they brag about how they get to rub elbows with all these guys and everything. How do I get, tickets to this? How do I get involved? How do I get there?
Well, exactly. Year after year, fans compliment the magic that happens in the invite from the village of Canastota and the residents and the many volunteers who put their heart and soul into honoring the sport of boxing and the world of boxing that helps out from abroad to help put it on the weekend. Many people play a part, not only just local residents, but people around the world help plan the Hall of Fame weekend. And the way that it all unfolds is just a 4-day weekend, many different events, from a kickoff ceremony on a Thursday afternoon in early June on a Thursday, and there's activities on the museum grounds. There's workouts by celebrities. There's ringside chants. They happen every day for 4 days. But then there's events such as the Night of Rising Stars, where the current stars of boxing who are just becoming champion or just became champion are recognized on a Friday evening. It's a fun night. Saturday there's a golf tournament. There's a boxing card show. The world's only all-boxing collectible card show at the high school gymnasium. There's a VIP cocktail reception. There's a 5K race that you can run with Marvin Hagler or run with these such champions that are coming in. It's just a fun time. And then, of course, Saturday night's the big banquet of champions. And on Sunday is the Parade of Champions, which everybody looks forward to. The entire boxing community turns out. The village of Canastota, it's 5-6 deep for about a mile long, and it's all floats and marching bands, and the champions of yesterday and today come down in convertible cars, and everybody applauds them. It's just a great time. And then, of course, the induction ceremony. And the best way for somebody to get involved and come back to the Hall of Fame weekend, or to come for the first time, is just to get the ticket application by calling the Boxing Hall of Fame, and they can call that number at 315-697-7095 and ask for the application. Or also, our website is also filled with a lot of news on the induction and the induction weekend, and that's www.ibhof.com. And there's a lot of news there, but we're trying to help out fans to coordinate. We've got a lot of phone calls from England. A lot of people throughout the United States are now making hotel reservations and ordering their tickets for any of the events. And many events are free, too. So the magic of the weekend is to feel the spirit for 4 days, enjoy the celebrities. The celebrities are great to the fans. They interact with them. They tell the stories. They take photos. Someone asking for an autograph. They've been so kind, the champions, to give an autograph.
Well, of course.
And, it's the magic that we try to keep every year. And this is the 20th celebration. So we're even going to have some fireworks displayed during the Hall of Fame weekend to celebrate 20 years. We invite the entire boxing community and all of the media to come and celebrate the sport. Boxing is a wonderful, wonderful sport, and it's great to celebrate it throughout the year, and it's extremely great to celebrate it in Canastota with everybody that loves boxing. And this year, June 11th, through the 14th will be the 20th celebration, and it's an exciting class.
Ed, I've got a question from one of our online listeners right now. It says, ask him how one goes about getting put on the ballot for induction. And can a fan start a quote-unquote movement to get someone on the ballot?
Well, that question is asked often, and we always give that answer to that because it's an open-door policy. Anybody can write a nomination to the Boxing Hall of Fame. And please send that letter to the Boxing Hall of Fame, and our address can be gotten from the website or by calling. And send a nomination in. Nominations are reviewed with the screening committee. We have historians that review names, and each year ballots are put together. And each year it's filling the void of the previous number of inductees that were elected in, and names are on the ballot. And then in October of each year, the ballots are mailed nationally and internationally, and ballots are out for 1 month. They have to be postmarked by a certain date, and then a CPA firm tallies the votes, presents the Hall of Fame of the report, and we hold a press conference and announce the inductees. But there's been many great champions, non-participants, regarding promoters, journalists, broadcasters, referees, many who have been honored in the Boxing Hall of Fame, and there's yet so many more yet deserving to someday be elected in. Boxing continues to make new champions, continues to rise to the level of Hall of Fame status as promoters and managers and trainers. And so we're excited each year when a new class is inducted. But please feel free to call the Hall of Fame or write a letter. And that's the process, and we feel very good about the way the process works. We've learned from other sports museums when we set up the induction criteria, and it's worked well for 19 years, and this is the 20th one now. So, again, we're hands off to the induction process and the voting panel and all those who have nominated boxers or promoters or managers over the years.
I've got a question as to how we go about choosing our Grand Marshal for the parade, and there's a few people online that are asking for Tony Danza.
Well, that's interesting you mentioned Tony Danza's name. I think I've heard his name more times
I'm sure.
than ever. And, but Tony Danza's a name that Tony loves boxing. He did some amateur boxing.
Yeah.
And a Grand Marshal each year is selected and announced in the springtime of the year, about a month before, a month and a half before the induction weekend. It generates even more media. It creates the awareness that the weekend's right around the corner. And each year there's different celebrity guests that have enjoyed being a Grand Marshal. And each year there's a list of different names that we always know in the boxing field that are perhaps from a TV show or was a singer or an actor or whatever it might be in the Hollywood business as the Grand Marshal. And so many look forward to being chosen to be the Grand Marshal. And we always like to listen to the fans. And I think over the years we've had some very exciting Grand Marshals.
Some outstanding names.
Flavor to the weekend. The weekend's about the boxers, about the inductees, about the boxing fans. But a number of years ago, the idea came up is why not in the parade add a parade Grand Marshal that's can be named every year to just have a little bit more of excitement. And it definitely has a nice touch to the weekend. Everybody compliments it, and everybody starts asking right around after the announcement of the inductees is the next question, who's going to be the Grand Marshal? So in April, that will be announced.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that one of your fans that have written in mentioned Tony Danza. His name gets mentioned often, and he's one that would like to make it some year. A lot of times it depends on their schedule. If they're in production or doing a TV show or a play or whatever it might be. So sometimes a potential Grand Marshal is very much interested and would like to be, but maybe has to put it off for a few years until their schedule opens up. So there's a lot of great names that we look forward to welcome as to continue the long list of exciting names we've had as Grand Marshals.
Yes, I'm getting a lot of Sylvester Stallone and Carl Weathers as well thrown in. So, yeah, I'm sure these are all names that you're getting pretty regularly.
Well, those are names, and of course, the movie Rocky was a great movie, and we did have one of the actors from the movie Rocky. One of our first grand marshals in the first couple of years was Mr. T.
Yes.
So the Rocky theme has also been part of the Hall of Fame weekend Parade of Champions. The Parade of Champions is so heartwarming. When the champions are coming down, everybody's applauding them in the convertible cars. And 9 out of 10 Hall of Fame induction weekend, we've always had maybe 85, 90-degree weather. The sun's out, it's beautiful, and there's just the village of Canastota is a very unique, small, beautiful little village. They have a lot of different shops actually for coffee shops or restaurants or shops to shop for clothing, whatever it might be. It's a unique little village, and it's a blue-collar community, and there's just a spirit of excitement, of the love of boxing. And when that parade happens, and the Grand Marshal's in the parade, and the champions in the parade, it really sets off that Sunday just about an hour before the induction ceremony, where then it all happens, the induction of the new class of inductees. So that's a big highlight that Sunday. But the weekend starts off on Thursday. We invite people to come in from Thursday on, and this is the 20th anniversary. We're quite excited about it. Each of the inductees all gave great quotes of what their feeling is to be elected in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
And to receive the honor. Looking forward to come to Canastota. So we're excited to hear all the volunteers, the staff, and the village of Canastota and the world of boxing.
Well, Ed Brophy, I thank you for taking the time. We will definitely be representing Bolo Punch Boxing Hour in June. We always look forward to your hospitality. You've got the hardest working staff on the entire planet, including your son and Mike Brophy, and I mean the whole. It's a family affair. These
The family of Canastota, and some of you mentioned maybe they have the same last name, but there's many that have many different names because there is literally 500 volunteers that help put on the Hall of Fame weekend. Added to that are many community organizations, from the local fire department to the local hospital to the church association, youth groups. You list the names of the organizations. They all play a part in hosting some events, and they all work on it from the fall right up until June. They take a couple months off, and they start working on it again. And that's what really is the spirit and the love of boxing. And it's an honor for the village of Canastota to roll out the red carpet to welcome the new inductees, welcome the sports fans. You know what's very unique is not only the champions that come, but many of our volunteers always look forward not only to see the champions, but to welcome back the fans and friends that they have met from England, from California, from Chicago, from Boston, from New Jersey, and vice versa. The fans have enjoyed coming to Canastota and revisiting with some of the volunteers and the community residents. So it's a love relationship between the sport of boxing, the village of Canastota, and the boxing fans around the world. So we look forward to welcoming you and your group and all the media and all the fans. And thanks for having myself on tonight to talk about the inductees. And hats off to all the inductees, well deserving. And we look forward to roll out the red carpet for the sport of boxing, June 11th through the 14th.
Beautiful. June 11th through the 14th, we will be there, and our listeners will as well. Ed Brophy of the Boxing Hall of Fame, Canastota, New York, we thank you for taking the time, and we will see you in June.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll talk to you soon. All right, and that was Ed Brophy of the Boxing Hall of Fame. Always a great guy, always willing to stop and talk to his fans, listen to his fans, to the fans of the Boxing Hall of Fame, and just to take into consideration what they say, because without the fans, there's very little of a Boxing Hall of Fame to speak of anyway. So he's a great guy. He's got the best family in the world. He's got a great giant extended family of all the volunteers and workers that work for him during that crazy second weekend in June. And it's necessary to have that many volunteers. It's necessary to have that many people working so hard, because the fans that come from all over the world to come hang out, Tim, I mean, when he says the red carpet is rolled out, it really is. Cause
he says the carpet's rolled out for all the boxing greats, but it's really rolled out for everybody. I mean,
yes.
You feel like it's rolled out for you, and you're just a fan. So it's
you're absolutely right. And I forgot that your voice is gone. I will stop asking you questions.
Thank you very much.
Because this is not the freaking Muppet Show. So let's go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back with all the fights that got us through the week, including a little bit of Klitschko, a little bit of Bo. So let's go ahead. We'll take our second break of the night. We'll be right back with all the fights that got us through the week. This is your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour, brought to you by George Rogie Insurance, www.bolopunchboxinghour.com, streaming to you live as always on UC3.tv.